here. And I do wish that the information that I share tonight will be helpful to you and also people around you to know about this knowledge on this quality air, which is most of the time is underrated and we don't really care about the air that we breathe. So tonight I'm going straight into the information about air. Before I go into the product, as usual, I always want to give a background. So does it really matter? Our air surrounding us, especially now during lockdown, last time we spent maybe about 8 hours in a day at home. The other 8 hours probably we are in the office. But now during lockdown, I think most of it we spend almost 100% at home, right? Unless we are going out to do our grocery, we are going out to tapao, take away or what. But other than that, I think we are almost 100% at home. Okay, so being a good citizen, we follow all the SOP, but are we really like keeping ourselves at home? Is that really the safest way if let's say we didn't really take care of the quality of air at home? Okay, other than ventilation, I think it's more than that we need to know. So tonight we're going to discuss on that. So it becomes a more important topic. Even now, government and also media also officially announced that they encourage every household to have a good ventilation, and on top of that, to have a good unit of air filter. So this has become a very, very common thing. I mean, COVID has just made the pace of this air filter become common even faster. Before COVID come, I think many households had already know the importance of it, but now I think it has become a necessity at every household. Okay, so tonight, to start off, I think we all need to know the rule of three in order to know the importance of air around us. So what is rule of three about? Rule of three, basically, there are actually three main things that we need to know. First, if let's say 3 weeks without food, we as a human being, generally we're going to die, okay? So second, if let's say 3 days without water, we're going to die as well. But do you know that actually if you hold your breath now for 3 minutes, right, most likely we will be dead also, okay? So that is how important air is, okay? Although it's readily available around us, we can breathe normally, and it's automatic mechanism in our body. That is also the reason why we don't really care so much about it. But if let's say today you suffocate and you cannot breathe for 3 minutes, right, it might have taken our lives away. So people who normally swim, they will know this kind of they'll know these difficulties that I'm talking about, whereby they will really feel that me myself last time when I was kid, when I was swimming, being playful, so I really experienced this kind of short of breath before doing the swimming time. Okay, so okay, anyone is didn't mute. Okay, so I'll just continue. Yeah, so if let's say we really in the condition whereby the air quality is bad, right? So in that particular 3 minutes, it can also cause quite a lot of damage to our respiratory system. And so people who experience asthma and also pneumonia disease before, they will also share the same experience, okay? So the purpose of us breathing, okay, have we asked ourselves before why we breathe? Okay, so normally we breathe mainly, not normally, every day we breathe. Basically, it's just to get this 21% of oxygen in our air. Yeah. So the other proportion of component inside the air is basically nitrogen, and also we have other air components. Okay, but basically, breathe in, breathe out is just to exchange in our lung to get the 21% of oxygen. Okay, but this 21% of oxygen in the air around us, right? Does it comes purely 21% oxygen, or when we breathe in, it will also come together with other water content? Hold on, I just try to check who is. Mm. So sorry. Okay. Okay, so definitely this 21% when we breathe in, it will come together with other unwanted content for sure, especially in the current time where our air is filled with so many other foreign body and also other pollutants, right? So in future, I'm sure there will be more other unwanted content in our air compared to like maybe 20 or 30 years ago. Our air is like much cleaner, less foreign body inside the body, inside the air itself. So there are actually less work that our lungs need to do. But nowadays, if you breathe in this 21%, right, we need to do a lot of work because there's so much of mixture inside the air. Okay, and it will only get worse because it is quite obvious that now globally we are not able to handle this issue, the air pollution issue, very well. Okay, so the ways of entering our human host. So we also need to, when we talk about air, right, we also need to understand how actually our human host will be exposed to the intrudes of other virus, bacteria. Okay, so first is actually mouth, eyes, and also nose, which is the most common one that we know of. So that means if let's say there's a bacteria, virus that want to intrude our body, the easiest way and also the one that we know is through our mouth, eyes, and also nose. And the other one is actually our urogenital opening. That means our private part. We will also actually expose to this kind of risk. Number third is actually if let's say we have any wound or bites opening, that will actually happen all across our body because all across our body is covered with skin. So you wouldn't know that which part of our skin actually have this small wound or small bites that actually cause an opening to this risk. So when we talk about this risk right now, during this time, everyone most worry is the COVID virus, right? But actually, I can tell you it's correct that we have this concern, but I mean in future we have to prepare that there might be more threats and also other new virus that will emerge to human world. Okay, so what can we do in order to minimize and also lower the risk? So now we know this already. We move on. So the relationship between this frequency, quantity, and also risk, right? It actually is very important for us to understand so that we don't treat breathing as the most underrated anymore moving forward. So we know that when the frequency of this exchange is high, it will actually cause a high quantity as well. So in the end, it will definitely pose as the highest risk, okay, among all these three ways to enter our body. So breathing, we all know is a very high frequency, high quantity, and also high risk. We can see it from the below example that I given here. So when we talk about water, right, just now, you remember how long we didn't drink water? Okay, so if we didn't drink water like for 3 days, we will die, right? So 100 and per day, normally we drink 15 to 20 cups. It's about 3 to 6 liter per day. So the risk is also quite substantial. That is also the reason why we encourage people to drink true water, through East Spring, all that. So today we're not going to touch about clean water. We will talk more about air. Okay, but second is the food that we consume, right? Every day, 3 to 5 meals, about 1.5 to 2 kilo per day. The risk is also there. That is also a reason why sometimes we take something wrong, not hygiene food, we will actually end up with diarrhea or that and fall sick. Okay. How about air? Air is actually much bigger and larger quantity, 7 to 8 liter per minute, and per day is come to 11,000 of liter. So the risk is actually very high. So imagine if you are living in the environment whereby you are long-term exposed to chemical emission in our living space. So what kind of chemical emission that we'll have in our living space later I will share with you. But imagine that if let's say there is, you will be exposed to it 11,000 liter every day exchange in and out, and our lungs is doing this job to help us filter, and it fail, then it will pass on the job to our liver. So a lot of time our liver not only burdened by the water that we drink, the food that we take, it's also by the air that we breathe, because eventually it will go into our bloodstream, and our bloodstream will go into liver for all these kind of few unknown things that inside our bloodstream will actually tackled by our immune system and also liver as well as our kidney. Okay, so key concern here tonight that we're going to discuss, I will discuss three main key concern. And it's also very close to us, especially for Malaysia and also our near country. Okay, so for key concern here, first one is virus, bacteria, and fungi in the air. Okay, and secondly, haze, which is getting common nowadays. Just that maybe we had some break during last year and this year, but we still feel it. Just that it's not that serious, not because it's getting better. It's just that the plantation people is not working as much as during the pre-COVID time. Okay, so the allergen is the third. Okay, but when we talk about allergen, it includes other chemical and also the odor. Okay, the bad smell. So what is the particular group of people that should actually take note when we talk about this three main concern area? So first one, of course, is the person who have this asthmatic history, or they are still having this asthmatic problem. It's very important for them to take note on these three main concerns. And other also household with baby, family with baby, family with elderly, and as well as family with pets. And then it also includes those who very concerned about immune health, and also they want to protect their family and loved one better. So this will become a very important area to look at. And I'm going to go in each of these key areas one by one, okay? So the first one, when we talk about virus, bacteria, and also fungi, right? I'm going to jump straight into the things that we concern the most now, which is the COVID. But of course, don't get it wrong that today we invest in an air filter just to prevent ourselves from, to lower down the risk of getting COVID in our living space. Not only that, okay, of course, it serves other purpose, which I also share. It's just that I want to let you know why this become a concern, because in the media also have announced so COVID actually make a lot of us aware that we are actually equally vulnerable when it attack us. So anyone who actually contracted with COVID, right, they will suffer. Okay, if let's say they contracted with COVID and then the immune system collapse, right? So it doesn't matter you are from which country, as long as you are a human being, you are actually equally vulnerable. So you can see from here the proof that every country, the chronic patient of this COVID, actually they need all the external support. Okay, the in the ICU, and then they need the oxygen supply, they need the medical equipment to help them to breathe. So this is something very, very at concern. Okay, just now we also know that we need so much of capacity of air to breathe in, day out. And the moment you lose the ability to do so, and you have to rely on the machine, we have to imagine that. Okay, so if let's say today we have something that we can do to prevent further, okay, or to lower down the risk further for our family and also for ourselves, are we willing to actually go ahead with that? Okay, so before I go into other topic, I'm going to share with you when this COVID just outbreak, right, and it just happened in this world, right? Okay, a lot of people is still debating whether it's airborne, it's not airborne. Okay, so last year actually Japan has undergo this experiment. I'll just let you guys see the video.
So far, we have considered two main routes of transmission. One is infection by coming into contact with something that has the virus on it. The other is infection through droplets emitted in sneezes and coughs. But some experts say there is possibly a third infection route. Experts are now looking at this new infection mechanism as the key to preventing the further spread of the virus.
ただの会話の中で感染が広がっているとか、ある程度の距離があってもそれが広がっているような、そういった事例を見ると、通常の飛沫感染だけでは説明できない。非常に小さな粒子ということで、マイクロメーターの粒子、マイクロ飛沫感染とも呼べるような、そういった状況が起きたんじゃないかなというふうに考えられます。
So how does this take place? NHK is conducting an experiment with a group of researchers.
はい、データください。
The team will track particles in the air using laser beams and a high-sensitivity camera. This technology allows us to detect droplets as small as 0.1 micrometers wide. The experiment starts. First, sneezing.
Very scary, right?
We can see a large droplet about 1 millimeter in diameter. It quickly falls.
Okay, so this is what we can see from our bare
But
eyes.
let's look through the high sensitivity camera. We can see small particles that seem to glitter floating through the air. These particles are all smaller than 10 micrometers, or 1/100th of a millimeter in diameter. Let's take a look from a different angle. They're small and light. You can see them drifting through the air. These are microdroplets. We're learning that sneezing isn't the only source of these droplets.
Okay, so I'm going to skip here where they do a simulation in the room
A
space.
person coughs once and spreads about 100,000 droplets. Large droplets are shown in blue and green. Most of these fall to the ground within 1 minute. But the microdroplets, shown in red, continue to drift. This simulation uses only microdroplets. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, the microdroplets are still floating in place.
Okay, so basically, that is the argument that we have during the outbreak of this disease. A lot of people don't believe that, oh, it's airborne, it have to be like very close. That's why we propose something like wear mask, all that. But back then, if we already being taught with the knowledge of all these microbes, viruses, and bacteria, and we are also we are very fortunate because we are in the business and we learn about air filtration. We learn from our atmosphere kind product knowledge. We have know that actually all this virus is very small, so it can actually float in the air for a very long time. And just now the experiment and also simulation itself, it has give us to understand even better. If let's say the virus is actually contained in our micro droplets, it can be equally good to float in the air up to 20 minutes and even longer. That is actually the research last year, and the most recent research, because they keep improvising the research, they get to know better about this virus, they get to know about the new Delta variants, they know that actually it can last even longer than that in the air, in that one confined area. That is also the reason why a person who actually eat in a dining restaurant, how come the entire restaurant that just sit in the same restaurant, but with the social distancing, they also getting the disease. Okay, so that is the reason why we want to let everyone know the can you guys mute if you are not sharing? Yeah, I cannot assign co-host because I'm not sure.
他不讲，你就从来都没有。4号还是5号你自己做决定，还打电话去给他们，他不是该讲啊，叫我们也打电话去给他。
Okay, so I'm going to continue. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so that is the importance of knowing about the Delta variants also. So recently, our KMM also have published the information about this Delta variant, which actually become a new concern, especially in country already widespread like US, and now a lot of Southeast Asia countries have also detected the Delta variants, and they have actually made this notice in their Twitter. It actually can it can actually spread to another person in the 15 seconds of time. Okay, it can cause infection in just 15 seconds. So this is how dangerous and how infectious the Delta variants can be. So imagine if today we are outside doing grocer, and then when you come home, you so happen that the micro droplet or the virus is actually on our clothes, and in a very small particle form, it can actually float in our living space. So do we have that prevention and also that kind of line of defense at home to do that? Okay, so to do that protection. Okay, so second, we're going to move into the second concern that I mentioned just now. Other than virus, bacteria, and also fungi, we're also concerned about haze, which is very common in this region because of the our plantation business. So it's not only that we always say that it's because of Indonesia. Actually, in Malaysia itself, we also have this kind of burning. Okay, it's a common practice in the more traditional way of plantation. So it will happen, and it will continue to happen because this industry is a very big industry with money making. So nobody will actually stop it unless there's a really very, very strict enforcement. So other than, if not, then I think we as a citizen or whoever who is living in this region will actually suffer from that. Okay, so you can see from here, this is in 2019. This is the actual color. I didn't change the color. So this is actually how scary the haze will become. Okay, so this is in Indonesia 2019. The haze has so serious that the entire sky become red color. Okay, because the particle for the haze, right, is very, very small and very fine, and among one of the most dangerous. So you will always notice whenever there's a haze attack in our country, our government will actually release the data every day. What is the indicator? Is it healthy, risk, or what? High risk, hazardous. Okay, so there, you guys will also remember there's 1 year whereby there's a lot of other state, a lot of southern state, and also state close to the Indonesia, we are actually having a very, very serious haze. So there is also that time air filter industry had sell very well. Okay, so we don't have to actually invest in one particular item just for one purpose. If let's say it can protect us in all these aspects, right, I think it's a good investment. So this is another example that whenever haze happen, some of the very small babies and also infant, they will actually suffer the most. Today, if you imagine the lung capacity of a baby, a kid, and also the adults, right, is totally different because they are still at the growth, and then the capacity and the size itself is so small. And we want them to actually undergo all this haze and also chemical, then is very dangerous for them. Okay. So you can see when it's serious, all the kids will have to wear masks and so on. But of course, I think in this condition, right, wearing mask will not help unless you have a better mask like the one that this kid is wearing. What about the other that just wearing the surgical mask? It will not help because the particle for the burning haze, right, is actually very, very small. Later, I'll also share with you how small is it. Okay. So you can see just now I mentioned one point whereby it will continue and it will continue. At least in the short term, I don't see it will stop. Okay, because it's a big money in Indonesia and also in any country which actually have a big plantation business, including Malaysia. That's the reason why I said whenever there is haze, don't just point our finger to Indonesia, because in Malaysia ourselves we also have this kind of burning. Yeah. So when we have this haze, right, normally it will affect few part of our respiratory system, including those which is not from our respiratory system. For example, our eye, you actually inflame, and also we have this conjunctivitis issue, and then we will have nasal irritation. We will feel itchy. We will have it will stimulate mucus production. Sometimes we sneeze, keep having the flu. All that is the symptom if let's say we in this haze. And then throat also will have irritation. It will also leads to a mucus discharge. And sometimes when it comes to serious, it will clog our respiratory as well. So we all know that, like, for example, COVID is also cause death because of the lungs malfunction, and then it's also the clogging and also over inflammation in our lung cells. So and then lastly, lung tissue will also inflame and also scarring. So this is equally scary if let's say we didn't handle when it's actually at a hazardous level, and then we don't have any protection at home. We just close our window, close our door tightly, and then worse, because the ventilation become very bad indoor, and then it concentrated, and then it will actually cause more harm to our families and ourselves. Okay, so the third key concern area that I mentioned just now is about the allergen. So when we talk about allergen, normally how to detect that? Those who have this allergy and they are sensitive to dirt and also dust, they themselves will know lah. Okay, normally some of the symptoms is that they keep sneezing and they have this morning flu that they thought, oh, it's genetic, I original have this. But if let's say you drill down to the root cause of it, most of the time is because of the allergic and also the sensitive thing. Okay, so it can be improved if let's say we invest in the right equipment. So other than that, what are the normal cause of the allergen? So from here, I can share some of the picture with you guys. You can see most of here is actually the mites lah. So the small mites, every corner in our house, we have this mite, and it is so small that it could be in your tilam, could be on your bed sheet, it could be on your cushion, on your sofa, and so on. This has been magnified many times so that our eyes can see. But in a normal bad eye situation, we will not actually see all this. Okay, so this is another example. So even in our kitchen, sometimes we drop some very small, tiny food, right? And then over time, you also grow mites on top of it. Okay, be it raw food or processed food or whatsoever. Okay, things that we eat, it will also become the food for all these microbes. And if let's say we have this dust mite or house mite being built up and colonized around our living space, and we don't really actually do anything about it, in the long term, it will cause allergic. It will also cause sensitivity. So sometimes you see your kids, or how come the skin keep itchy, keep sensitive, and you keep applying lotion or whatsoever. It could be one of the reasons is because of the air quality. Okay, this is just one example to let us think about some of the things that we thought is common, okay, but actually it's because of the air. Okay, so indoor air, like I mentioned just now, when haze happen, you close down everything, you lock down everything, and then bad ventilation. That is the reason why our indoor pollution can be 2 to 3 times higher compared to the outdoor, because of the concentration and also the confined area. So whatever pollution that we have indoor, right, it will be circulating, accumulating. That is the reason why it becomes so condensed that it actually causes more harm to us if let's say compared to we going out. But now there's no choice, we can go out, right? I mean, we have to minimize outdoor. So we will be spending, like I said, we will be spending almost 100% of our time indoor. So are we actually protecting our indoor airspace? So here you can see many things we cannot see, not you can see, but from this picture you can see I have label for us. So actually the allergen and also pollution that we have in-house, so many sources of it. TVOC and VOC is like the volatile organic compound. So it come in all kind of chemicals, product that are being used in our house, our paint, our furniture, and so on. We have dust and also dust mite. I have shown you all the mites just now. And then if let's say indoor you have plant, or even sometimes indoor you don't have plant, but the moment we open out the window sometime or from the gaps, it flows in with the wind. All these fungi, pollen, and mold will actually form in our indoor environment. Okay, so if let's say you keep pets, you also have pet allergen and also dander. But if you don't have pet, human also will have dander, all this. Okay, it will actually fall off and also at our surrounding. And for mainly for our indoor fittings, furniture, and also anything that we have at home, right? Most of it will have this formaldehyde. Okay, formaldehyde is a common chemical that being used to actually stick most of the furniture and fittings together. The glue that they use, the coating that they use, you will have this formaldehyde, and it has become the new concern in this modern era. Every newly built house, whenever you move in, it will be very high density of formaldehyde, and it actually lasts in that particular property for a very long time because it's chemical. And for latex and also other things, it also will be stay in that particular space for very long. So do you want to actually get rid of it through a technology, or we want to let our lungs slowly filter it and slowly okay? I don't think we want to use our lung so manual to, I mean, we don't want to sacrifice our lung for that. So if let's say we have a technology that can help us to do that role, definitely we will go for technology. Okay, so this is also another research. They're using a very special lighting for us to see. Actually, there are a lot of particles that we cannot see from our bare eye. So sometimes when we go to share with our friends or our prospect, right, we tell them it's important to have this air filter. They'll say, oh, my house is very clean, I vacuum every day, I sweep every day, I mop every day. But then if let's say if we using this simulation to see, right, you will see actually all these very, very fine particle. There's no way you can actually vacuum it or you can actually get rid of it. Why? Because you can see here the particle is so small that actually even from our aircon it have blow out all these particle in our confined area. Okay, so even when we're sleeping, you are just breathing and all these things is going in and out. If let's say we don't have a good air filter to help us does the job, even when you walk past your kids, all this dust is actually flying around. Okay, so imagine today you from outside, you reach home, we all know that the SOP is that we have to immediately take bath, take shower. But is it the moment you enter your house is immediately a bathroom? No, right? You will actually have to walk past your walkway, walk past your living room, you get your clothes, you get your towel, then only you can bath, right? So the moment we walk past all this, right, I don't know, it's droplets from your body, your clothes or what. So all this will actually start circulating in the air. So you can see this guy when he just tap the wrist like that also will have particle. The moment we open up our window, all these things come in together with the wind. Okay, we sit down. Okay, we sometimes we slack a bit. We don't want to immediately take shower or why we slack a bit. We just sit here. Then all these particles also come out. Okay, so go back. Okay, go back to the allergen. So allergen including chemical exposure also. So we want to know more about this chemical exposure. I will not go into too deep. I just want to give an introduction. For example, formaldehyde, just now I said short term, of course, is not so worrying, but of course, we also want to minimize because it will cause watery eyes, burning sensation in the eye, nose, and throats, all this. Okay, but in the long term, it actually is cause death and also cancer. Okay, this is very serious, especially in China, whereby certain area in China, they are not very well regulated. So the developer is just like simply using the material which is not so good and it emits very high formaldehyde. But we cannot deny that it happens also even in Malaysia. So how to actually avoid that is to have this protection at home to get rid of formaldehyde, because it can be emit from almost everything that we have at home. And TVOC and also VOC, the total volatile organic compound and also volatile organic compound, it can cause damage to our liver, kidney, and also central nervous system. Okay, in the long run, it could also cause the same thing. And latex is also it varies from mild to severe depending on whether we are long-term exposed to it or what. But basically, it will actually cause difficulty in breathing. So for adults, when we don't feel it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in the air, right? So if let's say all these threats exists in the air, we as an adult, we have to think about other people in our home. For example, if we have elderly people, we have baby, which their capacity is lower, and for elderly is because of the deteriorate function of their lungs. Okay, so we have to take care and we have to think of that. Okay, so 1 in 4 people actually suffer from allergies. They will have all these common symptoms, which I will not go through anymore. Just now we have touched most of it, but it's quite common. Some people, they have these allergies, but they don't know that they have allergies. They just live with it, but actually it can be improved, okay, if they are being introduced with the right product. Okay, so before I go into the air filter, so now we know all these key concern already. How do we want to protect ourselves and how we want to solve all these problems with one solution? Okay, so before we go straight into the solution, I will also let we all learn about this solution that we have in this particular industry. So when you talk about the air filter, right, you go to the market, so many, okay, and every of them, they are using different technology, they're using different term to confuse us or to impress us, I don't know. Okay, but here I can actually share some of the common technology that they have in the market with you, so that we know what is it, and then we can make a conscious decision in the future. Okay, so first one that I'm sure we heard of ionizer before. When we talk about air purifier, normally some of the brand, right, they even put in this ionizer technology inside their air purifier. So what is this? It's actually for static charging the particles in the air. How does it work? Later I'll go into it. So second, UV. UV is, we all know that is for sterilization, and also it can have the disinfection purpose. Okay, is it good or not? Later I'll also share. Okay, number 3, humidity. Some air purifier even tell you what, it can actually control the humidity in your air, or that. Okay, so is it a humidifier or is it a dehumidifier? Which one that you want to go to? Okay, and number last, which is also the very important one, and also to me, that is actually the most important perspective in air treatment. Okay, we need to know about the concept of micron. So when you talk about how to filter up to how many micron, there are few technology, few ways in the market, also ranging from pre-filter, HEPA, carbon, ceramic, and also some even using liquid and also water to do that filtration. Okay, so which is the best? So before we go to which is the best, I just tell you which is not necessary first. Okay, so for ionizer, basically I will tell you that it's not really something that can solve our problem, okay? Because ionizer, like I mentioned just now, is actually a static charge to the particle and contaminant in the air. So how it works is actually when this particle being charged, right, it will actually stick to the nearest surface that they can find off. And most of the time, if they cannot find that surface, they will actually drop to the floor. So my second question is, can that surface be you? Okay, we are living in that space and we are walking around. So if let's say that surface is us, right, it become not so favorable already, okay? Because now we are not talking about normal particle. In case it's a virus, we wouldn't want it to land on in front of our nose or land directly on our mouth or what. Okay, so touch wood. So if let's say today, if we're having an air filter with the ionizer, it's nothing to proud of, but it's something that we have to beware of. Okay, so if let's say you are using this kind of air filter, think of whether you want to do the trade-in, okay, and upgrade. If let's say you haven't owned it and now you know it, I think now we are more informed. We know that what is this technology about. We know whether it's good or not, whether it's necessary or not. Because if let's say is being charged, is not being removed from your environment, it's still in the environment, just that it's landed at a certain surface. And if let's say your kids or yourself go and touch that surface, and then remember the charge will not deactivate the microbes. Okay, you will actually make it stick to the surface. You will not deactivate it. So we all know that for viruses, example, okay, recent review of the survival of human coronavirus on the surface. Okay, COVID can actually, they already do a lot of research on different surface. Sometimes on fabric, it can last shorter on the parcel package, it can last how long. On the wooden, it can last for how long. But basically, it ranges from 2 hours to 9 days. So if let's say it can last for so long on a surface, right, we don't want to risk ourselves to install this kind of technology in our home, because how often you on your ionizer and then immediately you sweep your floor and you mop everything and you lap everything is very tedious to have. I mean, this technology actually gives us more work. Okay. So second, UV. When we want to talk about UV sterilization, we need to know the knowledge, a little bit of knowledge about UV also. UV, there are actually three different rays. Okay. In this on our earth, actually is naturally we have three rays from the sun. Okay, so it's UVA, UVB, and UVC. Okay, but UVC has been filtered by our Earth atmosphere. Okay, when it reach our Earth, right, it's only UVA and UVB. So UVC, human had learned how to actually create it in the lab. That is the reason why now you will see certain product, they have this UVC sterilization and also disinfection. So for UVC, even if using UVC, right, they need to have a wavelength more than 240 nanometer in order to be effective as a disinfectant or sterilization. Okay, but then if let's say it's at the 240 wavelength, right, it's not recommended to be exposed to human eyes or human skin. So if let's say today you bought an air purifier and then they tell you they have a UV technology can actually do disinfectant, and then you can see the UV light at the place they outflow the air, right, I'm not sure whether it's a good thing or not a good thing. If let's say it's a UVC, it might does the work, but it's not good for us because we are not supposed to expose to it in the long term. But if let's say it's not UVC, it's just UVA or UVB, it will not be 100% effective for virus and bacteria. So you get what I mean or not? Okay, so here we also can see from research, prolonged exposure to UVC light can actually cause temporary eye and skin irritation and damage. But in the long term, it might also cause DNA damage. But the risk is there's still no study. The risk is still is there. Okay, relatively low amount of ozone will actually cause chest pain, coughing, and so on. Okay, the high amount, it can actually cause lung damage. So when we suddenly talk about ozone, it's because if let's say you are using the UV technology to do the sterilization and disinfectant, right, it will actually cause a breakdown in our oxygen also. So in our air, we have 21% of oxygen. Whenever this oxygen flow through your UV technology, it will actually break it into oxygen atom, and it will actually encourage the formation of O3. O3 is ozone. So the long exposure of O3 will not be good to us. So to me, this is like an extra thing. Okay, why we want to install something with such extra uncertainties thing and give us more concern to worry about. So why not just go into the root of solving the issue? Okay, the other one before I go into the micron, which is humidity. Today we want to buy an air purifier to get rid of the pollutant, or we want to make our air more humid or less humid. Okay, so to me, in short, I just want to tell, right, we want to more humid or less humid. Everyone might give you different answer. Some people say, oh, it's too dry under aircon condition, I need more humid. Some people say in Malaysia it's too humid already, I need more dry. Okay, so it varies by environment and also by season. Sometimes raining season, we don't want so humid already. Okay, so it's not practical to have this technology attached in the air purifier. You get what I mean? Because what we pay for doesn't worth this extra technology, because this technology is so basic technology whereby, for example, if you need a humidifier, you go online. Okay, it's ranging from 18 ringgit to 88 ringgit you can get already. You don't have to pay over 1,000 ringgit just for that purifier because wow, got the humidity function. Nothing to be proud of. Okay, and then secondly, if you want to dehumidify, the simplest is actually to do this thirsty hippo. I'm not sure you guys use it before or not. Okay, I always have this ready at home to put in cabinet or other place to just get the moist suck on. Okay, so cheap, 6 ringgit. So don't install something which is practically the practicality is not there to have this feature. Okay, so go for the specific function. If you need this add-on like what I have proposed here, you don't have to spend so much to invest on that. Okay, so now I go into the most important thing, which is after get rid of all the unnecessary thing, I think we go into the most important one, which is micron, okay? Because end of the day, we want the air filter to remove unwanted, okay? As simple as that. So whether it can remove or not, it depends on the micron, because all the particles that floating in our air, they are actually in different sizes. So from here, you can see, just give you a rough idea, virus about 0.1, bacteria 1. This is just general, okay? Every virus might again vary in their size. Okay, so what micron actually means, for example, you plug your hair, you put it horizontal, you see the diameter of our hair, right? We can still see with the bare eye, but that is about 60 to 80 microns. Okay, whenever it's smaller than 30 microns, right, we cannot see that thing already. Okay, so you can imagine anything smaller than 30 micron is so small that we cannot see with our bare eyes. So you can see on the here, I have also include the dust is about 0.75 microns, very small. Only sometime when we didn't clean for a long time, it accumulate into many, then we thought we can see dust, but actually before that happened, there's already dust there. It's 0.7 micron. So for coronavirus, COVID is ranging from 0.6 to 0.06 to 0.1. Okay, why got different size? Because it's a living thing. Okay, it's a microorganism. So of course, like human, we also got tall, got short, okay, got big size. Same goes to virus. So if let's say it's as small as 0.06, do you think your current using air filter can does the job or not? Okay, then influenza 0.098, then we have Ebola 0.09. I just list some of the very common things that will be in our environment. And then another one, if let's say cigarette, doesn't mean that your house have to have a smoker. I have one friend who stay in a condo, and then sometime when he open up the balcony, he can immediately smell the smoke already, because she told me the next door, the neighbor is actually smoking at the balcony. So this is how fine the cigarette particle can be. It's 0.025. It can actually float to the next door through the balcony. Okay, so anything that can actually float that far, right, normally is very fine particle. Same goes to haze. So now we know why haze can float from Indonesia to Malaysia, okay? And canine virus is 0.022. For canine virus, normally it's on the pets. So whoever like have pets at home, or they have animal with fur, okay, normally you have this virus around. Okay, so to give you another perspective, normally those very cheap air filter, that means those that you can buy online with just a few hundred ringgit or what, they will tell you it can filter up to PM 2.5. Okay, sounds good, right? Because that is normally the common term that we heard of when there's a haze in the news. Also, they report PM 2.5. But does it mean that the haze particle is PM 2.5? No, because PM 2.5 is just a standard guideline to let us know whatever things which is smaller than PM 2.5 is hazardous and dangerous to our health. So PM 2.5 is just a benchmark, okay? So we are using this benchmark to let you know how powerful is the air filter that we have. Okay, so PM 2.5 is actually as big as this whale. And if today you are eating the Nutrilite fish oil, this is the size of the fish oil. This is actually 0.0024 microns. Okay, the filtration rate for both of our air filter unit. Okay, so this is how small is it. It is. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I accidentally. Okay. So this is the concept of microns. Okay, second part of the concept, which is, if let's say today these particles go into our body, right? Do we have a built-in system to actually filter it? Like I said, we do have, but actually we also very limited. Okay, our filtration micron is as per here. Our nose, we have our nose hair to filter some very big particles and slowly go to the 3 to 5 microns in our airway. And when it comes to the lungs, it's about 2 to 3 microns. whatever which is smaller than that, for example, virus, bacteria, all that, will go smoothly into our bloodstream. That is also the reason why it's so dangerous when we actually inhale the virus, like for example, COVID into our body. Okay, it can pass through easily because the size can be as small as 0.06. Okay, so today I want to ask you, once you already understand the concept of micron, right? Okay, you can actually, I can let you imagine today if you want to buy a vacuum. Okay, if let's say the person tell you this vacuum is on promotion because there's just one small hole here at the tubing there, will you still buy this vacuum cleaner? Okay, I think any sane person will not buy this vacuum, right? Because even though it's very cheap, but apparently there's a hole there, and then whenever you suck the dust, all that, it will come out from here before it goes into the container, and in the end you have to do double work. Okay, so same goes to today. If you want to get a good air filter system, you want to make sure it get rid of everything. Okay, it's not the matter of how cheap is it, okay, or how affordable is it, or how well it goes with your budget. To me, if let's say it doesn't does the work right, better don't buy any really one. Okay, because if you buy a wrong unit, it will actually cost worse. Okay, you will actually circulate more virus, bacteria, pollution in the air. Okay, it's just act as a blower. It's not an air filter. Okay, so if let's say if you don't have any air filter, it's much better than you buy a wrong one, because eventually when it didn't circulate, it will drop down to the surface, it will drop down to your floor. Okay, but of course the risk is still there because you don't have a air filtration in your living space. So the recommended one is go for the one that we can definitely afford it and it does the job, which today I'm going to recommend you guys a very, very good product, okay, which is the air filter from Amway, which is Atmosphere Sky and also Mini. Okay, so this is actually our Atmosphere Sky. You can see it filters 99.99% filtration rate. Okay, and it's very, very small, 0.0024. Just now I give you, imagine how small it is compared to a whale and also the fish oil capsule. Okay, over 300 contaminants. Okay, and the technology is using a pre-filter, a HEPA filter, and carbon filter. But today I'm not going to share too much on Atmosphere Sky because I will focus on Atmosphere Mini, which actually all the spec that I mentioned here, right, also have in the Mini. Okay, our Atmosphere Mini is also doing the same job and the same specification, just that the cover space, the coverage space is different, and also the CADR is also different, the clean air delivery rate. And what is clean air delivery rate? Today I'm going to share also to make sure every one of us we know better and we know how to share with our friend, okay, in the future. Okay, so Atmosphere Mini, okay, is smaller in size, but it's never compromised on the performance and also the specification. Mini yet powerful. Okay, so this is actually how it looks like. It's very convenient, it's very compact, and it's suitable for all household. Okay, definitely we will have that space that actually meet this size. Okay, and this is just a simple comparison to let us have a quick glance, but basically all the important information is already here. Okay, you can see on the left is the newly launched Atmosphere Mini on the 15th this month. It's just newly launched. Okay, Atmosphere Sky is the existing unit that we have. It's also relatively new. It's the latest generation compared to the previous generation. So you can see the size is different. The weight is also half of it. And then the filter, okay, just now I mentioned we have the pre-filter, the HEPA filter and auto filter for our Atmosphere Sky, right? But for the Mini, it has been combined into only one cartridge, which also contain all these 3 layers in one, okay? So about CADR, that means the clean air delivery rate, we are using a cubic feet meter. So cubic feet meter, that means is a calculation of how large the cubic feet, okay, that the air can actually become filtered in 1 minute time. Okay, so for example, here is 130 cubic meter. If today you are living in a space of about 200 square feet, right? which here you also recommend the square feet coverage is 200 square feet. So 200 square feet, I think normal like master bedroom or normal size sleeping room, okay, maybe your study room, your working room, okay, library, or maybe your kids room, okay, ranging about this square space. So 200 square feet, for example, in Malaysia, normally our ceiling height is about 8 feet to 10 feet. So in example, we use 8 feet, right? You times 8, you get 1,600, okay, 1,600 cubic feet. Okay, so how fast this Atmosphere Mini can clean up this space, right? You divide it by 130 is about just using 12 minutes to clean up the entire space. Okay, so this is how fast it can actually circulate and also clean that space within that time. Okay, so this is even more powerful for sky atmosphere. So for living space, or if let's say your house is very big, even even though your bedroom is that big, so you can actually opt for atmosphere sky, which is 300 cubic feet meter, and then is actually recommended for 465 square feet of space. Okay, contaminant remover, okay, is the same. Okay, both also have the same spec, 0.0024 micron. Warranty, one is 3 years, one is 5 years. So this warranty year, you also realize is actually quite good. Okay, a lot of time other brand or other home appliance out there, right, they normally just provide 1 year or 2 years. Okay, this one is 3 to 5 years, right? So it really gives us a peace of mind if we invest in this technology. So this is how it looks like for our Atmosphere Mini. Inside is a 3-in-1. So if let's say you take out, you only see one piece. But here it actually show you in this one piece, the first layer is the pre-filter, and then it comes with the carbon filter, and then lastly our HEPA, okay, which is also the most important layer in our machine. And why you say, hey, HEPA, other brand also got HEPA, what is so special about your HEPA? So this is what makes us different, because not every HEPA can filter up to 0.0024 micron. Okay, so we go into that later. So for Atmosphere Mini, okay, you can see the height, the width compared with the big one. And then number 3 is lightweight. You can actually carry it anywhere. You can, if let's say you have upstairs, downstairs, you can also carry it easily. 3-in-1 filter, okay, easy maintenance. And then number 5, it also has the same monitoring system like the Atmosphere Sky. You can actually connect to your Atmosphere Connect apps. You can monitor that space. You can monitor the useful life of it. You can monitor whether there's pollutants or contaminant in the air. Okay, so again, I want to reiterate who should actually look for an air filter. Basically, all household. Okay, nowadays every household will need one. Okay, so but particularly for people who is allergic, easily sensitive, babies, household with babies, with elderly, with pets. Okay, definitely we have to be more concerned. And also for people who have a not so strong immune system, always fall sick, always weak. Of course, you can go for Nutrilite to strengthen your immunity, but of course, I always encourage a holistic approach. Okay, when we say holistic approach, we have 3 lines of defense in our body, in our own body. But if let's say we can increase another line of defense externally, okay, why not? And it actually is not like cost like a fortune to us. It's just something that we can afford. Okay, so you can see the top panel is very simplified. Okay, only 2 buttons, one is on off, another button can actually adjust the speed of the Atmosphere Mini, and then the same button will actually help us to adjust it to the auto or actually to the night mode. So here is the indicator to show us that the filter is in good condition, when it's soon to replace, and also it's time to replace. So it's very easy for us to maintain and also to monitor the unit. Okay, so just to give you a picture which kind of space actually need this Atmosphere Mini. Plenty, okay, you can see from the study corner to your work corner to your kids' room. Okay, maybe you have a corner to do your workout, to do yoga and so on. Okay, all this space actually will be good if you have an air filter unit to ensure whenever we do this, we spend this long hour that we are actually breathing in the quality air. Okay. So powerful performance, actually other than our household, it also encouraged to use for classroom, for clinic, medical room, okay, studio, apartment, meeting room, office. So it's not only limited to household, it can also be used for other space. So if you have friend who is doing business, we have a friend who is actually practicing doctor, they have their own clinic, we can also recommend this for them because everyone is concerned nowadays, okay? We want to protect ourselves as best as possible. Okay, so just now I mentioned about the HEPA. What is so different about HEPA and also the one that we have in the market? So normally, if we didn't expose to enough information and knowledge, we will thought that all HEPA is the same. So basically today I'm going to share with you this very open information. You can also search in the Google, you can search in the online. Okay, there are many grades of HEPA in the market. So Emulsifier Sky and Mini is actually using the highest grade of HEPA, which is more than the MER V18, okay? So the filtration rate is 99.99. So this grade actually normally is used in the industrial for pharmaceutical company and also medical equipment production company. In their production line, they will require this kind of grade to get rid, to ensure whatever they produce, the drug that they produce, the medicine that they produce is free from all this pollution, okay, and contaminant. Okay, but today we get the chance to use it at our home, okay, because that is actually the most effective and the most powerful HEPA. Okay, so, but then how come in the market so many are claiming they are HEPA? There's no wrong. They actually using HEPA as well because as per this US standard guideline, right, HEPA, as long as you can filter anything which is greater than or equal to 0.3 micron. Okay, so that means today if you go to the market, you saw someone is using HEPA, if let's say they didn't specifically mention they are filtering smaller than 0.3, you will automatically know they are actually filtered up to 0.3 only. Because imagine if you are X brand, you can filter smaller than 0.3, which is the normal HEPA standard. Will you actually publish it out? Definitely, it's something to be proud of. Okay, if they didn't publish out, that means they are actually just using the standard HEPA, which is 0.3. Like for example, Amway, we can go lower than that. That's why we specifically mention and publish out. We can actually filter up to 0.0024 micron, and we are claiming ourselves as a true HEPA. Okay, so there's no way that you can perform better, but you don't want to let your customer know. Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so now we want to go back to the micron 0.024. Can it really actually filter all the things that we know of? So whatever being drawn into the unit in the air, if let's say we have all this virus and is provided is being drawn into the unit, it will be 99.99% removed from our air. Okay, you can see the removal is 99.03, 99.07, 99.99. Okay, even we are using the 0.0024 micron. So imagine if let's say they are just using 0.3, right? They will actually perform worse, okay, compared to this. Okay, so probably the virus will just pass through because they are so small, right? So 0.3, okay, 0.11 is smaller. So that means the coronavirus can just pass through easily. Okay, so other than that, we also want to focus on the third-party certification because if we didn't focus on the third-party certification, whenever you go in, you bump into the Coway distributor, you bump into the Cocoa distributor, they will tell they are the best. I will also tell you we are the best, but who is the best? Okay, so as a smart and also wise consumer, we also want to rely, other than the report that I showed you just now, we also want to rely on the third-party certification. Okay, so third-party certification, not all product in the market will have. Okay, again, go to the same logic. If today your product is so good, will you get a certification for your product? Will you apply for it? Definitely, right? Same like the HEPA concept just now. So if let's say you don't have the certification, you cannot be telling your customer, oh, we are performing very good, just that we didn't go and apply for this certification only. It doesn't make sense to me again, because whenever you want to pass through all this examination by this third-party certification, you have to undergo their independent lab test. Okay, so if let's say the report is not favorable to your company, it's not favorable to your product, then probably you don't want to be listed in their website as being certified. Okay, so for Emulsifier Sky and Emulsifier Mini, we have nothing to worry. So we have passed all these certification. Okay, we are being approved by Allergy UK, we're being approved by the ECAF, AHEM, and also Energy Stars. So this is how powerful the product of Amway, and you can actually go to their website and check for all this verification. Okay, so this is just example to show you in Allergy UK. If let's say we tick all the allergen 25 type or allergen in the website, right? You click apply filter, all the 3 remaining product is actually from Amway, our 2nd generation, our 3rd generation Atmosphere Sky, and also the latest Atmosphere Mini. So this is how convincing it is, especially for people who have asthmatic, people who is allergic, who is sensitive. Okay, they will be very particular in all these triggers. If there's one unit that can actually solve all these problems, they will definitely invest it for lifetime. Okay, so we are also the only company which is so transparent that lists out all the pollutants and contaminants that it can remove by the unit. So far, if let's say I go to the competitor and X-brand website, I cannot find any listing like this. Okay, again, same logic. Okay, think for yourself. Okay, if let's say we can do it, why don't we publish it? Okay, only few reasons. Maybe you can do it, but you didn't undergo the test, you don't have the report, you cannot claim it, because we need the black and white report to claim all this listing. Okay, in case anything didn't go through and you still report it here, your company is subject to lawsuit, right? So Amway is also a very big company. They are worried about lawsuit as well. So if let's say they are so willing to publish it out, that means they are very confident we have a lot of lab report to support all this. So what other company does? They didn't go for all these tests. That's why they cannot give you this. You can try yourself. I mean, you go to the roadshow, or you know anyone who is doing Koku Kowe, ask them to provide you this list. I'm sure they will not have an official listing from the company. Okay, if they have, do share with me. I need that information as well for the comparison. Okay, and now this part is on the comparison. Okay, which is also a very important market comparison. So now when we do the market comparison, right, I don't like to talk the bad side of other brand, but we just compare fairly, and then you guys will have the idea which is the best and which one that you will choose. So first one that we commonly see in the market, very nice, okay? So, and also some people thought, oh, I already using their range of products, so their air purifier might as well I use also, okay? But does it really does the work? Okay, so for this brand, the specification is transparent. You can visit their official website and then don't say that I simply put and try to make them look bad. Okay, it's 0.3 micron for this unit, and it's the highest range of their product already. Okay, Pro H. I'm sharing those that are available in Malaysia market. Okay, so it's 1,002. Okay, from price wise, you might thought, it's quite reasonable, but are you paying this to get a vacuum? Like I give you the example just now, you buy a vacuum, there's a hole there one. Do you still want to get it? Today you buy a mosquito net, you want to get a mosquito net which is the hole larger than the mosquito or smaller than the mosquito. So if let's say today our enemy is 0.06 micron to 0.1 micron, we will be buying something 0.3 micron. Okay, the answer, I mean, you will know yourself. Okay, and in the website, I feel something weird is that they purposely remark it takes 1 hour to remove the H1N1. So just keep this in mind, which I will share with you in the later part. What does this mean? Okay, and the CADR rate is actually 294 cubic feet meter. So just now I teach you guys how to actually calculate the cubic feet meter efficiency, right? So if let's say this is 294, same goes to the same space. If 200 square feet with times with the 8 feet ceiling height is 1,600. We divided by this 294, that means it only used 5 minutes to clean up the space. Then you will ask me the next question already. Hey, Lance, just now you say it's not good, but this one more powerful. It only takes 5 minutes. Just now you calculate for mini, it takes up to 12 minutes to clean up the same space. But bear in mind, this CADR rates, right, is being examined based on their specification. That means the space is cleaned up to 0.3 micron only. Is that what we want? If let's say that is not what we want, right? Even though they are using 1 minute, 2 minutes, to me, I don't care already, because it doesn't really meet the expectation that I need already, okay? So bear in mind, all this CADR rate is based on the specification of that particular machine. If let's say today their micron is already failed, okay, doesn't matter to me already, the CADR rate. Okay, so now if we go into the other product that we have in the market, which is also the very common one, start with C. Okay, so this C product, I also take their higher spec. It might not look familiar to you because they have a more familiar to you module. Okay, I purposely don't want to take that because that is not the highest range. I purposely take the highest range, which is less people buy one because it's more expensive. Okay, but even the highest range is, you see, they give you this funny term, okay, ultra PM 2.5. What does that mean? How many micron? I searched the entire website, there's no such information. It only show you ultra PM 2.5. Okay, what is ultra? Okay, so now if let's say you are just a normal consumer, you didn't attend today's sharing, you will thought that, wow, ultra, that means very good. But today, if you come to this learning session, you know about micron, your knowledge is beyond the seller already. You can actually challenge them, what is this PM 2.5, ultra PM 2.5 means? PM 2.5 is just a benchmark. So when you say ultra is how small? Okay, so 3,500, will you spend this money for something unknown? And even though they tell you the CADR rate is 235, again, it doesn't matter to me already. Okay, so for call, another call, okay? Okay, I don't want to try not to pronounce their name. Okay, so for this product, right, also a popular one, okay? And they always try to publish a lot of advertisement in the Facebook, in the Instagram, and so on. So this one, okay, 0.3 micron as well, but this is their highest range. Again, you might be familiar with their other module, other shape one, that is the lower range. I also take their highest spec one. So highest spec is 2,400. Is okay. It also, the CADR rate is 235, same, okay, 0.3 micron. That means it doesn't really filter virus, okay. And this is another brand which is very famous with their hair dryer. So people who use their hair dryer thought that, oh, I might as well use their air purifier as well. Is that a good decision? Okay, so now we see for this brand, right, they are actually much better compared to the other brand that I have shared just now. Okay, at least it's filtered up to 0.1. But the problem is that's the only limit that we want to stop at, because just now I have told you, like for example, smoke and cigarette is 0.09 something. Okay, so that means it's smaller than a 0.1. And then for haze, it's also smaller than that. For some of the virus is 0.06 and smaller. So do we just want to filter part of the virus, or we want to filter everything? So the decision is still go to you guys. Okay, the price is 3,200, but the downside of this particular product is, which is also the thing that they struggle to explain to their customer, is their CADR is very low. It's 95 only. Okay, so I have calculated earlier, so I don't have to calculate again to bore you guys. It's basically taking 16 minutes to clean up the 200 square feet. Okay, it's longer than our mini, and this thing is like big and tall. Okay, why they get such a low rating and you are not able to find this rating in their official website? Because they don't actually care to publish it, and they actually deny the accuracy of the CADR rate. I get this reading from a consumer report. Okay, so it is low because of their technology that being used for this particular product. You will realize that it's a fan and a purifier at the same time. So if you understand the concept of purifying the air, right, we want to draw in as much air as possible to pass through the filtration and then emit it from somewhere else so that it has a clean air circulation. But the moment you combine the fan and also the purifier together in one panel, right, the top side is like blowing the air away. And then how you want to actually actively draw in more air to do the filtration. That's why the filtration speed and also the efficiency is so low, okay? But actually in the Dyson official website, they even actually condemn this CADR, and then they said they have do their own testing, which actually show a better result. So I mean, as a consumer, we ourselves has the final say, okay? But if I say CADR is the international standard, okay, I'm not sure whether you buy the saying of Dyson, this company, or you buy the saying of the international standard, okay? So, but what I explained to you just now, I think it should make sense to you. If today, whatever virus that you have in the air, right, you want to draw in into your air filter. You don't want to blow it away. Okay, so if I say a fan and air purifier together is not a good idea to me. Okay, so among all these things, do they get a third-party certification? Okay, none of them get a third-party certification. I mean, a prestigious certification. For example, Allergy UK, HAM, all this. Okay, among all these, only this brand, they have the certification on the Allergy UK, but it's not this model. Okay, not this model that I'm showing here. It's another model. And the allergen that being filtered, recognized in this Allergy UK website is only 3 trigger. Out of the 25 category, they only filtered 3. Okay, so now we have this being shared with you. Of course, there are a lot of other brands in the market, but now I think you have equipped ourselves with sufficient knowledge to know about ionizer, humidifier, UV, and then all these different funny name with also their technology and spec. Now we look at the Atmosphere Mini, and why I said you will know the answer already if you know the spec and also the price. Okay, so if let's say we also get the certification and is this particular unit, you can go to the website and check yourself, and then the specification 0.0024 micron. So far in Malaysian market, there is no other air purifier that actually surpass this performance. Okay, if you found it, again, share me that information, which I will also document and also be able to compare better with my customer. Okay, the price is 2,890 for ABO price, and you are able to get also rebate of bonus. Do check the detail with the person that invited you, and single pass-through elimination. This is the thing that I want to relate back to this unit that say 1 hour to remove H1N1. Okay, to me, there's no point that you tell us it can remove the contaminant after 1 hour or 2 hours, because to me it's like you trying to catch the fish with a net, and then you catch 1,000 times, then finally you manage to catch one fish. Okay, that's the concept that he's trying to imply to us. But the concept of Atmosphere, Sky, and also Mini, right, is a single pass-through elimination. That means if let's say this batch of air being drawn inside contain COVID, the moment it's being released out from the bag, confirm no more the 99.99 removal of the virus. Okay, so that is the definition of single pass-through elimination. So it removes all the 25 type of allergen listed in the Allergy UK, and is also listed, okay, in our contaminant list is also listed. COVID particularly can effectively remove if let's say being drawn into the unit. So the CADR rate is 130 cubic feet meter. Okay, so that is actually perform quite fairly well already. Okay, compared to the other unit that we have in the market, because if let's say your spec is PM 2.5 or 0.3, even you perform faster, there's no point. Okay, so summary of the sharing tip. If today you want to share this great item with our friend or even to ourselves, okay, the most important things that we need to have is the Atmosphere Sky app, okay, and also the Atmosphere and also the mini booklet and also e-leaflet. It's available in the Amway website. Okay, the pollution list is also clearly listed. Okay, you can actually Google it out. And then for video one, okay, these are the 3 main video that I normally will equip and get ready in my phone or with whichever available in my cloud, okay, to share with my friends, because to give them the impression, what is the meaning of dust flying around without us seeing it. Okay, if let's say we don't have a purifying unit, and Allergy UK to show them how to actually do the filtering and end up with the product that actually can successfully remove all the allergen. Okay, the speed of Atmosphere Sky and also Mini is also available online already. And then get ourselves ready with this Jack IPP. That means this pool 2 unit, right, can be bought at the installment 0 interest, 12 months. So it's like just now Mini is 2,890, you divided by 12 without interest. So it's definitely affordable to everyone. If let's say today we want to invest, don't just look at the price, because to me, really, if it does the work, don't buy that unit, because it will actually circulate more contaminant in the air. So now I just show you a short video.
At home, a place to breathe easy, a place to live and grow, to relax and play, where air purity matters most. Meet Atmosphere Mini, the new air purifier from Amway. Atmosphere Mini's 3-in-1 filtration system provides filtration down to 0.0024 microns and exceeds HEPA filtration standards, removing 99.99% of harmful pollutants in a single pass, giving your family the safer, cleaner air they deserve. Atmosphere Mini continuously monitors the quality of your room's air, automatically adjusting as needed. And when paired with the companion mobile app, Atmosphere Connect, Atmosphere Mini gives you convenient control over your family's air, no matter where you are. Designed to be as portable as it is powerful, Atmosphere Mini gives you the peace of mind that your family can breathe in comfort, day or night. Atmosphere Mini, where quality of air is quality of life.
Okay, very nice. Okay, let's give Amway 111. You can type in the chat box. Okay, so before that, I also share with you another one of the video that I say I always equip myself with, which is to show our friends and also people around us that how this small thing can actually go into our breathing system. Just now, earlier part I have shown you, right, the atmosphere. I mean, one of the Japan lab test. So this is also another one.
特殊なカメラで映し出そうというのです。塵や埃を完全シャットアウトしたクリーンルームに川島さんからお借りした布団を運び込む。
Okay, so it's in Chinese character. So basically, they are just trying to simulate in a sleeping room. So they brought in the bed sheet, the mattress. So when they shake it or they just move this sheet, right, you can see there's so many particles floating around. But this is basically what we do before we go into sleep. So you can see the moment you sleep, it's still floating. This is how the micro particle can actually stay in the air. So without realizing, when you sleep, you thought that everything is okay. So actually all these particles is like going into our lungs. So he is doing the job. So do we really want to give our body a good rest, or we still want to burden it with all these particles while we are sleeping? So this is something that we cannot see from our eyes. They are actually simulating it in an in-house lab and using a very infrared to actually see all these particles floating. Okay, so I think this is the okay. So just now, if you realize, right, when it pressed the third triggers, which is the smoke, the cigarette smoke, it immediately left with only 3. Why? Because cigarette smoke is a very, very fine and very small particle. So not all product in the market can does the job. So a lot of people thought, hey, I already invest before in air filter, it won't work for the cigarette smoke, just because you have not found the right unit yet. So do try and upgrade to atmosphere, and